Okay, I'd like to take just a moment to talk about a couple of things happening this summer that people will be talking about. Max, I want to talk about the census for a moment.
Okay.
Utah is probably not going to get another congressional seat, but we still should care.
Oh, yeah.
Explain why that's the case and why some of the candidates are watching for the chance to tweak the lines.
You know, well, they want to tweak the lines, and it's a real controversial thing in Utah. And one thing we'll need to watch for in this coming legislative session, and I think in the summer as planning is starting for the session, is how they might want to tweak Proposition 4, which creates this commission which would recommend lines after the census, that redistricting commission, because they already had their hands in the other propositions. This is the one that they left over, and they certainly are going to want to adjust.
Natalie, it's just so interesting. People talked about that during the session, that this initiative passed, did pretty well. A lot of legislators didn't like it, but they didn't mess with it.
Yeah.
All right, but.
Well, I mean, let's just take a step back. 2020 census, we do this every 10 years. It's the largest peacetime mobilization of the federal government, so it's a big deal.
Yeah.
This will be the first census where where you can do it online. I think that's exciting. So way before I'm thinking about reapportionment or drawing the lines, I'm just thinking about let's get an accurate count. You know, we got to make sure that our high growth areas are counted. It means money to our state. It means better planning for our state, and of course it means representation. And there is one really sticky issue, and that would be the citizenship question.
Yeah.
Wasn't on the 70, 80, 90, 2000 census, but here it is. The Commerce Secretary and President Trump have put it on. It's gone to the Supreme Court. It's been heard. We'll know this summer if we're going to have a citizenship question, and it will impair or harm turnout or accuracy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I think you're going to see the political implications of that are, one, what does that force? Where does that take the national conversation in terms of immigration, these things that are very hot button issues anyway? If it does cause people to not engage in the census, again, are we getting the right counts? How does that impact districts? Because there are a lot of states that are shrinking and people are leaving, but where are they going and who picks up that seat in Congress? So the ramifications are huge, but I think one of the biggest ramifications will be the dialogue that goes on around some of those questions.
And I think something that it's been under the radar, but that really could impact Utah. I was listening to a New York Times conversation about this and speculation that one of the issues that this citizenship question is partially based on is the notion of changing apportionment, how we decide who has congressional districts, not by how many residents are in an area, but how many eligible voters are in an area. Now that would hurt places that have
citizens are in an area.
Well, they were specifically saying eligible voters, but yes, citizens are eligible to vote. But eligible voters, that hurts Utah if that were to happen, because we're the youngest state in the country, and if it's the population of citizens over 18, Utah loses out big time.
Just because I want to stir it up just a tad. So Natalie, in just the last couple of seconds, we have some legislators here who are very interested in running for a congressional seat. And I'm curious if they'll be able to restrain themselves from wanting to tackle this issue during the session. Might help them reclaim the one seat that the Republicans lost.
Right. And so we're talking about the 4th Congressional District, if I've got that right. And just by moving those lines a few streets in a few different directions, you can change the balance of that district. And so this is why the Independent Commission was attractive to some people, and I just think, come on, let's make communities of interest. That's the goal. Follow physical features and keep the politics out of it.
Yeah, and it really brings everything full circle, because you're talking about the 4th district, which is a plus 13 Republican district that Ben McAdams was able to win, and I think it's probably less determined by the lines as it is the messaging and what the parties actually do in the end.
Very interesting. Thank you for your comments on this. Very insightful.